Have you ever wondered about headlight restoration kits or headlight cleaning kits? What about, coilovers like BC versus KW? Which one should I get? Well, today, let's talk about it. Hey guys, and welcome back to another Talking Mods. On today's topic, we're going to talk about headlight restoration kits, and we're actually going to talk about coilovers, well, mostly particularly two brands, BC versus KW. Some questions that get asked quite often. So before we jump into it, where does this all come from? It comes from personal experience. It comes from selling these products constantly, getting close to 17 and a half years. Of selling it through Mod Bargains, that's our website. And then we have our installation facility at Mod Auto, where we've done these installations where we've played around and done. So this is where this information comes from, so that you guys can make those informed decisions yourself. And as always, if you haven't subscribed, if you like the content, hit the like button. I appreciate it when you guys do, so that I can keep giving you guys different information about car modification and this industry. So all right, anyway, let's jump right into it. We're going to start with headlight restoration kits that you see that are often available. So does it work? It will work for about a couple days is the short answer, but that's because of how it's used. So it doesn't matter what product it is. Anything that you have can always get polished out, can be sanded and figured out. On my Porsche 996 Turbo, the headlights started to yellow out, and especially it happens on a lot of vehicles. You'll start to see as the cars get older, after you look at them for about 6 to 7 years, they start to become like this yellowish, they're no longer super clear, and it looks really bad. Sometimes it even can affect the light output. So the way these kits work is they provide a compound and some sandpaper. So what it basically is like sanding it down, and you go to different grit levels where it becomes finer and finer until it becomes a nice polished out. So you can actually sand it down. You can take layers off. And I'm pointing to my watch because older watches back in the day, you could actually polish out these days they use sapphire crystals, but they used to have almost like a plastic based crystal that was used on watches. I think it was like Headlight or something, and you could polish it out. The point is, the same thing happens with car vehicles, right? The headlights in our vehicles. The problem comes about that after you've done it and it looks amazing, it'll be nice and clean, you're like, wow, it looks great, it worked. And you see that on the pictures and so forth. The problem that happens after is that it's not sealed. So you've now taken the existing coating that was on the original headlight lens. They actually have a coating on there. You've taken that off. That's where the problem comes about, and that's why everyone's like, well, that's just a myth. It doesn't work. These products don't work. How do you combat it? It's pretty simple. You go and get it clear coated. You get a layer of protection on there. You go and get it clear coated. That's the first thing you should do. And to get it clear coated, you need to take it to a body shop. So prep for that. And after you do that, I honestly recommend either a clear bra or a brand that we sell, for example, is called Laminex. It's the same thing as a clear bra on top of it. Again, more protection against the elements. It does work. It's just an incomplete kit, which they don't tell you about. And so hopefully I debunked that myth that it doesn't work, or helped you guys out in how to use it for your headlight lens. So the second question of today, and one that is often asked, is BC versus KW. BC coilovers or versus KW coilovers. There's a KW coilover we put in here for today's episode. So we get this age-old question, BC coilovers or KW coilovers. Now let's say you're in the market and you've decided, okay, I'm not getting springs and now I'm going to go for coilovers. I'm not buying the super high end, but now we're getting into a nice sweet spot. BC is a good value, is an amazing value, but KW actually has its own very good value as well. And now BC coilover has its BR series, and that's the majority of people are aware of, is the BR series, and that will basically run around $1,000, about $1,050 with the latest price increases as of today. I'm not sure where it will be. I know they tried to keep the price down below $1,000 to be this, an amazing coilover under that price point. The equivalent from KW in terms of coilovers that you can adjust and make adjustments on how stiff and how soft it is, would be the KW V2. The other big one is, I don't know if people are aware of it, but KW is made in Germany. Now, I got to visit them. They have an incredible facility built to the highest standards. It has TUV, again, TUV, if you don't know, the highest level standards in Europe. But KW has a racing pedigree. They have proven it over and over, winning on the track. And how they did this is with the engineering. So when I went there and I got to experience it and spend time with the engineers, you can see that every single coilover is actually, they check the tuning for it. Before they design it, they tune it. So it's all properly tuned accordingly. So you get some insane, great engineering. I haven't said anything bad yet about BC. BC is awesome as well. So both are great. And I mean that. And this is a question that comes up often when people ask. So with KW, you get this nice engineering, right? And it's tuned accordingly, and it's quality control check. Now, BC has that equivalent, the BR series, the 1050 is equivalent. Now the KW will cost you approximately $1,600 to $1,700 for a V2. Phenomenal product with the KW, but we've got a cheaper alternative. How does it qualify? But BC is made out in Taiwan. I haven't got to visit them, but I have put BC coilovers on my own vehicle. They again are stainless. They do have the ability to adjust, and we have a price difference. So the KW is designed with the spring perch so that it can basically be adjustable, right? So you can lower the car based on the height of the spring perch. Now the BC, on the other hand, is a predetermined preload on the perch. So you adjust it by adjusting the entire strut assembly so it goes up into it rather than going down. So in this case, you get to retain the full shock travel of the coilover. So we don't want it to bottom out. We don't want that bar to hit the bottom here. That would be bottoming out. So that's why they put in restrictions and an area by which it goes. So BC does it a little bit different. KW does it the way JRZ, the way Bilstein does it, and BC does it a different way in which the shock goes up. Now, there's nothing wrong with it. Both are great. What BC allows for is a bigger drop, a lower drop without sacrificing the shock travel. KW has figured out the sweet spot, the perfect, properly tuned area. So if you want a really, really well engineered, properly tuned area, they have it right in that sweet spot. And that's what they've done. So there is a difference of philosophy there and a difference of design. And that's usually where the questions come up. Now, on the other side of it, KW has a lifetime support and lifetime support on their products. That means quite a bit, especially when you buy it from a preferred authorized dealer like ourselves. Again, I have to plug it in, Mod Bargains. That also affects ability to resell. So you have, and KW as a brand recognition is extremely strong. So in terms of resellability, if that's a factor for you, then KW is the one to go with. Now, if you're on a budget, but you want a great coilover, BC's great. I mean, at that price point, what you're getting, the adjustment abilities, stainless steel, it's a phenomenal product. So you got to remember that. And KW recognizes that they needed to have a more price conscious. So they have what's called the Variant 1, which basically doesn't allow you to make adjustments to the shock on how stiff or how soft. It just allows you to do a ride height adjustment. And if you want to save even more money from them, their brand ST, which is 100% the same as a KW V1, it basically uses galvanized steel. So I hope personally that I get to go visit BC one day in Taiwan, get to see more about how they engineer their stuff. Anyway, both are great choices. You can't go wrong. It depends on your own budget, guys. And if you need more advice on this and you want to get advice, please feel free to contact us. And I'm not trying to just do a shameless plug. I think you guys can contact anybody who's selling these products. But I think this question comes up a lot, BC or KW. And that's pretty much it. So guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to put in your comments below. And I will see you guys on the next Talking Mod.